Hey folks, welcome back to another Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Cyberpunk 2077, which is brought to you by Go On Board. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and games generally run about 60 to 90 minutes. Welcome to the Night City, the metropolis of the future. Here the locals blend with the global, and the past, present, and future merge into one. It's a city of inequalities and economic disparities. Big business walks hand in hand with big crime, and widespread robberies and violence bring down those who believe that determination and zeal would be enough to reach the top. Cyberpunk 2077, the board game, is a fast-paced cooperative tactical card game where each player controls one character, an edge runner. With the guidance of the app and the locations map, you will decide which missions to take on. Through a series of real-time fights and cooldowns between them, you must complete the main objectives provided by the mission's card description. And each character has a unique deck with action cards and unique features specific to them. The game offers several modes of play. There's a replayable campaign and standalone jobs available in the Afterlife mode. You will explore Night City through the map book, which highlights points of interest and mission sites. All players win the game together if they successfully manage to complete all the main objectives for that mission. Players lose the game if they fail to complete any of the main objectives in time. Now, a couple things about this game is that you will be playing your turns within a real-time aspect. You'll be using an app to count down, and you'll be quickly doing things to try to advance and perform the requirements of the mission that you're on. So I want to call out though that they really did a great job teaching you the game by moving you through the first 3 prologue missions to give you a sense of what you're going to be doing through the whole bulk of the story. So I really like that aspect. As you jump in, you get the first tidbits, kind of the basics of what you're doing. The second mission gives you new things like crafting, which is fantastic. And you also jump into that third mission where you get some additional things like the ability to loot the downed enemies that you have taken out through that particular round. Now, there's all kinds of things going on in this game, but the bulk of what you're going to be doing is playing a card and performing actions. Each mission will have varied setup. Obviously, you're setting up this world with different tiles, and you have this elevator shaft that you, the heroes, will start on and move out from there, trying to fulfill the requirements. Now, there's doors, there's loot to pick up, there's enemies, and I love these enemies. At least the prototype has this dial that you can dial down the health as you do damage, which is really neat. So it just depends on the scenario you're playing, what you need to set up in the environment. In the full game, you'll be referencing a Night City map book, but you'll also have these mission objective cards. Now, on the back side is going to have some setups specific for that mission, but the other will show all the objectives needed and what you need to do to win the game. But at the very top, in the right, you'll see a number, and now the rounds in this game are referred to as fights. So you have 6 fights, that's all you have in order to complete all the objectives of this mission. And this is the very basic mission. So you're just trying to go to the different areas, A, B, C, D, and play a card of that action type in order to complete and get the rewards. So you'll see here that you get legend cards, which you get added to your deck with more powerful abilities. You also get shards, skill shards, to add to your skill tree to make you more powerful, which is one of the really cool things about this game, and I'll show you in a minute. But at the very bottom of the card will show you what you need to do to win. Now, not all objectives are going to be required, depends on the mission itself, in order to complete that mission. Some are going to be optional, but you'll find, at least I did, and as you move through the different missions, that a lot of those just happen because you're trying to fulfill the overall win condition of the mission and what you're trying to do around those parameters. So as another example for that, you'll see in the second prologue mission that you have your main objective, which is to take out guards, I think 6. And then you have optional objectives where you can get better types of weapon for that particular mission, giving you better dice that you can roll against the enemies. So, since this is a cooperative game, as you'd expect, sometimes objectives truly require that you work together with your fellow teammates. Now, you will have your own player board. You have your portrait card, you'll slot right into the board, which is nice. To the left of that is your health. You can have boosts that you can install on your character as well, and you can have up to 3 of those. Your main action cards are going to be stored to the left, and these are we're going to be drawing from in order to play actions and so forth. Now, they're going to be specific to you, so some of them have icons that are directly relate to you in some way based on the type of character. And then to the right, you're going to have your skill tree. You have skill shards that you put into play, and as you play your action cards next to them, you can perform the actions per whatever level you are of those different types of skills. And this is the thing that I really enjoyed about this game, is the fact that as you upgrade the different types of skills, that might cause you to focus in a particular area. Maybe you're going to be heavy on attack, so you're going to add those cubes, kind of be actively looking for those shards in order to put them out on your board to give you more and more abilities, because from level 1 you only get to do the top level icons of the action card. But as you get more of those skill shards, then you start to perform every one of those icons on the card, giving you so many possible actions. So of those skills, you have 4 different types. First we have cool, which is directly related to doing damage and perhaps destroying walls. And then we've got body, which, as you'd expect, is about moving and healing. And then we've got intelligence, which is about getting more RAM that you can use for different abilities, as well as net running. And then of course we have technical, which gives you the ability to craft, as well as, interact with your environment, like opening doors and so forth. So those are the main attributes that you're going to be focusing on as you build out your skill tree. At the top of your player board are your crafting cards. Now you'll be drafting these through the course of the game, through each round and so forth. So you can swap them out and do whatever you want here, but in order to activate these cards, you'll have to use your technical ability in order to interact with the cubes and remove them. So once all cubes are removed from a card, that card becomes available. Now once you use it, you discard it. So things like getting health, or moving, or just getting a skill shard, or even just attacking enemies out on the battlefield. So there's lots of different reasons to use these cards and how you mix and match them for each of your different players around the table. And you can discuss as you draft them and so forth who should get what and why that makes sense. Some characters in the game have their own special unique starting die, but in general you're going to get one basic weapon die as well as an enemy dice. And below that you'll see your RAM. So this is a resource that you can spend on your quick hack cards. Now every player gets one to start the game that's personalized to them, but you can gather more of those to spend that RAM resource on. And then you have 3 wound cards. So as you take wounds, as your health bottoms out, those wound cards start to get added to your discard pile. So then when you have to reshuffle, they dirty up your hand, making what actions that are available to you in any particular round may be more limited based on how many of those different wound cards you have in hand. Getting a full understanding of your character and all the icons and actions that are available to you are going to be key to you being successful in the game. Now, the gameplay here is super straightforward. You have an app which will give you some story elements, which I really liked, and you'll get ready to play. Now, before you do, you will draw 4 of your action cards and keep them face down. And then you'll start the timer. The first player will go. And the first thing you're looking for is if you are engaged with an enemy. Are they within sight? Are they in the same room as you? You're going to roll your basic weapon die and the enemy die to see if you get damage, if they get damage, and so forth. If the enemy takes damage, you just roll it down. If you take damage, you move it down your health track. It's that simple. That's the first thing you're doing. And then you get to play an action card. Based on the color of the action card and your skill tree will determine how many of those icons you get to use. Maybe you're just moving around the battlefield, opening doors, getting ready to engage with the enemy, or maybe you're playing cards that you're attacking the enemy right away. And there are specialty icons again for the different characters. Maybe you can hit an enemy anywhere because you have a sniper rifle. Lots of different options around the different types of characters and icons and cards available to you. And then you can choose also to use any of the actions that maybe you've crafted, or if you have RAM to spend on your quick hack cards, or on the boosters that you have in play. Lots of different options available to you, but the next player cannot go until you have drawn back up to 4 cards. That's the key to letting the next player know it's time to go. So as you'd expect, that's a real time pressure, trying to fulfill the requirements of the mission all within the allotted time. And also, if you are the last player when that timer cuts off and you're in the middle of your turn, you are allowed to finish your turn, which is really nice. But that time pressure just adds a lot to that real-time play, and you really feel it as you're moving through the game. So then you're going to move to the cooldown phase. There's a whole series of things here that can happen. Not all of them are going to happen every time, but in general, the enemies are going to move. You're going to spawn new enemies based on the mission that you're on, how many are going to come out and so forth. But this is also where you'll get new crafting cards, and out on the battlefield there is loot to pick up. As you move over these loot tokens, you pick them up. You don't look at them until this cooldown phase. You'll flip them, and again, there'll be icons that you can take advantage of. Getting shards, skill shards, things like that. They're going to help you through advancing your character through the game and so forth. So those are going to be key things. The cooldown is definitely something needed because they even have on there breathe in and breathe out. Okay, relax as you move into that phase. And then you're just going to set up for the next round, and hopefully you've completed all the objectives before you reach that very end. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, with that said, I have to say that with the real-time play, they do give you a sense of what you would find in the video game of the same name. You definitely have that vibe, that feel, for sure. They did a good job there around that timer and just feeling, again, that time pressure. And that's something I like in games where you're like scrambling to do something. So they did a really nice job with that. Also, again, there's so many options available to you around the different types of actions, so many icons, and these legendary cards that you can get and add to your deck through various means are going to have more advanced icons, more powerful, especially when you max out one of your skills. That's going to just give you so many options as you build out your character in the way you want, or whatever helps the group the most. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.